Good morning, one and all. My name is Donato, and welcome to another podcast, Manchester Magic. Yes, this is a podcast where I'll be interviewing people who will either be running Manchester Marathon this year. That's right, 2024. I can say that now. Happy New Year to everybody. Or those who've ran Manchester in the past to help you, yes, you guys who are watching these podcasts, and to help you have a better, more enjoyable Manchester Marathon experience from people's experiences both before, during and after. And I'm tremendously excited to have this new guest on for mile 5. Yes, we are on mile 5, as we say. This man has travelled to many wonderful places, ran a number of marathons, and he's got not one. So he's not just doing Manchester Marathon this year, he's also doing Brighton and Leeds Marathon, all for a wonderful cause, and we'll be talking more about later through the podcast. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on none other than Garry Coley. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you? You well?
I'm very good, Gaz. I'm very good, Gaz. How about yourself? It's a Saturday morning we're recording this. Saturday is parkrun day, and I didn't do a parkrun because it was cancelled because of flooding. Did you do a parkrun this morning, Garry?
I can't say. I've only ever done 2. It's not long enough.
I said the actress to the bishop. But yeah, so are you, I mean, before we go into the details, I said Brighton, Manchester, they're within a week of each other. And then you've thrown in Leeds as well, which is in May. Yeah. We'll talk more about that. And this is all for Cancer Research UK. And we'll talk in more detail of that. But a lot of people who are watching this podcast may not have heard of you, seen you or whatever. But do you want to give us a bit of a background in terms of, I know you mentioned a lot, and I see you've got the 3 feathers on there of the Welsh Rugby Union. So maybe that gives you an opportunity to go Croeso and Bore da as my limited Welsh, and Sut ma tewydd heddiw, which obviously I gather you're not actually Welsh, are you? No,
your Welsh is better than mine.
Yes, so tell us a bit more about your background, because there is a rugby connection. Obviously, Wales is famous for its rugby.
Yeah,
give us a bit of a sporting background. You do have a bit of a sporty background, don't you, Gaz?
Well, yeah, I do, definitely. But I'm very much an Englishman living in Wales, and you've got to be proud of where you live, yeah? So
absolutely.
And being a massive rugby fan, I mean, I played rugby from the age of, I don't know, 6, 7, I can't remember. Yeah. I mean, when you're at school, people play football, but I was never interested. It was, I don't get why you want to kick it all the time. Can't you just
throw it?
Give it me, catch it. Let me take. I mean, growing up as a kid, my grandfather was a massive influence in my life, and used to go on the field at the back of the house, and literally sometimes, for example, rugby is huge. So he would kick a ball. Sometimes it would have nothing in it. Sometimes it would be pumped full of water, and it was just like, and it would tell you what type of pass you wanted. Do you want a dive pass? You want a reverse pass? You want a left, right? So rugby's been huge. As a player, I wasn't too bad. I wasn't great, but I always enjoyed playing. I then went on to do what I consider quite good things in terms of being involved at Loughborough University. So yeah, it's a discipline, isn't it?
Yeah. What position did you play, Garry?
I was, well, this is a good question, right?
Multiple positions?
No, I wanted to play fly half. Always wanted to play fly half. But people said to me, you're a better 9, you're a better scrum half. And to be fair, I was better scrum half. But do you know the era I was growing up in, you had like the Johnny Wilkinsons, and
yes,
I thought, I want to be like Johnny. But to be fair, no, I wasn't. I was more like a Matt Dawson.
But so you were the scrum half, between scrum half and fly half.
Yeah, scrum half. But I've always, I guess this kind of relates to running, because the scrum half, you've got to run, you've got to have a good engine, you've got to be at each breakdown, you've got to kind of make sure you're up with the game and keep, up with everything that's going on. You are the link in the side. If you want your pack to go forward, you've got to have that communication with your pack. If you want the backs want it, you've got to give them, and you've got to be always the first. Well, not necessarily the first person, but one of the first people at that breakdown. So I've always, like I say, had a good engine. So even at my age now, at 40, it's always, I can always get there and make sure that it's gone, the ball's gone, and so I guess that's where kind of running has came in a little bit, because I didn't realise until I got older that actually, if you're a good 9, you're probably a good runner.
For those who don't follow rugby, the scrum half, as you were saying, Gary, is the connection between the forwards and the backs.
In the back, yeah.
So it's a bit like, for the American listeners, viewers, would you say it's a bit like the quarterback? Where you're getting the ball off your front men and then throwing it to your linebackers and whatever.
I'll have to say yes, because I don't follow American football at all. If you say so, then yes.
Yeah, it's a tough role. Like you say, you're doing the both. You're a back and a forward. So as you say, you're the first one in. So you've got to be following the game all the time. First one in. So it is quite amazing. I love watching it. It's one I will never take part in, but I do love watching it.
Why would you not take part in it? It's great fun.
I mean, obviously, you're considerably younger than me, Gary. I think at my age, I'd probably one hit, and it might take me out for a while. but we'll leave that for another story. But not only you say that it gave you a good engine, and the stories about the ball, they'd have certain things in it, whatever. Obviously, that's it does have fun. But you also took up some teaching some form of fitness classes as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
and through your time, was it aerobics or HIIT classes?
All of it, to be fair.
All of the above.
Yeah. We're going back years now. As a very young man in my late teens, early 20s, I don't fitness first don't exist anymore. But I did a fitness diploma at Leicester College for 3 week class, and we did. So obviously passed. I did a bit of fitness first at the time. They had these people that would basically give 3-4 hours a week up of their time to work in the gym for free, and they're called the motivators. So once I qualified, then I was involved as a fitness instructor, became a personal trainer, and I was got my very interested in kind of so what I'm looking for, like nutrition and taking the personal training to the next level. So I taught aerobics, circuits. Literally everything that you can. It's a different era now, I appreciate, but it's like that, listening to music again, going back to run. It's all relates to running. It's like listening to music, the rhythm, the beat, and you've got to have that understanding. And fitness was something that, do you know, when you sort of get into life and everyone's looking for a path. That was my path. I know I'm good at that, but it's. Life changes as you get older. You can't keep up with the youngsters, can you? So you go down an alternative path. So like I said, with my rugby, with my fitness, I used to love going to the gym. We'd do like triathlons in the gym. So you'd have like 20k run, and then 6 10k or whatever it would be on the rower, and then however many miles on the bike, and you'd compete against each other. And I used to just love it. I don't know. It's not necessarily the competitive edge. I like the buzz you get from sort of being in that moment, in that zone where you're thinking you're not competing against anybody else other than yourself.
Yeah. And do you
it's,
think it's because you're with other people as well? You say you'd get together and you'd be on the treadmills or on the bikes, rowers. You think because you're with other people at the same time that helps?
Oh, definitely. Of course it does. That's massively. And that's why, again, going back to running, is when you do when you train, it's about, I enjoy the process of getting to that day, like whether it be Cardiff, Edinburgh. You've got to go through that process. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you do your long runs, and people think you're absolutely mental, but they do, don't they? Yeah. When you say to some of your colleagues at work, "Oh, I got up at 4 o'clock this morning," you know why? Well, I did 10 miles. Really?
And 10 miles is a short one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but exactly. You've got to get to work, haven't you? Or you'd be out for longer.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's that rush and that adrenaline I get from, it's like not competing, but being in that environment. Like when I met yourself, I was running quite well. I didn't realise that was in the lockout until that day. Yeah. Because I'm not done.
There's so much there, Gary. What actually, as you mentioned about the gym, and you were called motivators. Was that the right word?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Motivator. I have met Mr. Motivator, who was a TV celebrity back in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember
I did bump into him one time just walking through the streets of London, and I'll save that for another story. But he was hilarious. He was with a production team. They were filming a commercial at the time, would you believe? When I was walking, I think I was walking over London Bridge or Waterloo Bridge, and they were filming on that bridge. And I just, as I do, I saw him. I just walked up to him. I didn't know they were filming. And he was happy chatting to me, but I don't think the producers and film crew were happy with me walking onto a commercial that was being recorded. And then you hear cut, let's start again. I go, oh, sorry, did I interrupt? But anyway, no, motivate. The reason why I want to ask this, Garry, is a lot of people say to me, a lot of runners, and this is where maybe you can help a lot of people watching, listening to this podcast. A lot of people tell me, like yourself, I was doing gym stuff before I was doing the running, but sort of casual, nothing competitive, but, you know, a few spin classes just to keep me ticking over, not training for anything. But I know the feeling because I didn't want to go to the gym and do strength training and conditioning and all that type of stuff, which I do now, and I do enjoy it. Have you got any tips, hints to help people is it a mindset thing or whatever? How would you approach someone? Say you see a runner and they go, I think going to the gym is boring. Although some people tell us going for a 10-mile run is boring. But obviously people find reasons for doing. What would you say your top tips are to help people to get into the gym or at home? You know, you don't have to do strength training in a gym. You can do it at home if you've got some dumbbells or whatever, or kettlebells, I think they're called.
I don't know.
What would you say, Garry?
That's a tough one to answer, but for me, it doesn't have to be necessarily strength training. I think if you want to do something, like, for example, you want to run a marathon, you want to go to the gym, and especially this time of year in January, people will, in my opinion, this purely is my opinion, people will join the gym, they'll get the best trainers, they'll research the T-shirts, all the things that they think are important to be in the gym, but what they've not done is join the gym. So if you're going to do it, join it. It doesn't matter what you wear. It is a mindset thing. If you want to lose some weight, for me, it's not about losing weight. It's not about getting the best kit. It's about just getting out there, enjoying the run. It's about enjoying lifting a couple of weights. It's about and it's the best drug you could ever take.
Yeah,
it really
it's free as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people like you could spend £60-70 on a gym membership. Go for it if you really wish to, but why not just buy a pair of trainers? Don't have to be the best trainers, do they? Get out, do a few miles, get home, some sit-ups, some press-ups, and it's economically, it's friendly, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you've touched on that there. Sorry, Garry, go on.
No, so my point kind of is that you don't have to spend a lot of money to be happy. It's free to get out there and and have a run.
I think what you just said there, you get back, you do a few sit-ups, pull-ups, that is worth gold, because a lot of people, I think, even maybe some of those who may be listening, watching, and sometimes I got caught into it, depending on what shift I was working, is the time. You know, so you go for a 40-minute run and then literally you just jump into a shower and go to work. But you don't do the little bits after, you know, your pull-ups, your sit-ups, your stretches, your cool-downs, which can help the actual running. And whilst you just quickly said, we do a few sit-ups, pull-ups, doing those, even if it's 10, 20, 30, whatever, that is strength training in itself, isn't it?
I mean, you've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah,
I mean, my philosophy is, like I said to you earlier on, is people say you're going to put 4 o'clock or 4:30, you're out for a run. Yeah, but I'm probably in bed then by 7, or not 7, but 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. Yeah,
it's not like I'm not doing a 25 or 22, 23 hour day. I prefer to do my work. It's about filling your cup, isn't it? Yeah. So you fill your cup first, get out and run, put something in your bag. That then when you go out to work, you're a better person for it because you are already on the front foot. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense, and I think just those little nuggets that you've given there, Garry, is worth a mine of gold, as they say. But following on with the 3 feathers, you did have a period of time in South Wales. I was going to ask, where in South Wales were you?
The first time I was in a place, excuse me, I was in Mountain Ash. So.
Oh, I know Mountain Ash. Yeah.
But now
So
I'm
up
in.
the valleys.
Yeah, I'm still in the valleys now, but I'm in Treorchy.
You're in Treorchy right now. Wow, that is because I remember having some friends in Tredegar and Ebbw Vale. What was another one? Oh, Merthyr. That's my poor South Walian accent. I mean, I did live in Wales, I think about 8-9 years of my life. So, and hence why I did go to Welsh classes. But so you're in Treorchy right now. Is that up one of the valleys as well?
Yeah, it's in the valleys. Of course it is, yeah.
Is it Heads of the Valleys? Because you had the Heads of the Valleys roads, didn't we?
Not too far away, I guess, really, if you to keep it simple.
Yeah. So lovely part of the world. So
amazing.
Why road running? Because for me, when you get to that area, you've got the Brecon Beacons.
Yeah, not far away, exactly.
Do you use the Brecon Beacons for a lot of your training, or do you tend to stick to roads?
I don't need to. I can walk out my front door and I've got the bulk mount, so I don't need to go to the beacons. Literally from where this house is situated, I can cross the road and I don't need to travel. I don't need to jump in the car. I can bit of road running when I'm back in Leicester, a bit of off-road running when I'm here. It's a bit of variety, but
excellent.
I do prefer my road running, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it's cleaner.
It's less on the washing up and laundry then.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying, so your first time in Wales, and now this is your second time in Wales. I think your running career started in South Wales, did it not? Was it, you say, your first half marathon, first 10K?
No, my first half marathon was it 2009? I think it was. I think this half marathon is famous because it was a half marathon that wasn't quite a half marathon because they measured the track wrong.
Which one was this? Was this the Cardiff half?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Was it 2008, 2009? I'm not sure what year it was. Quite pleased that I finished the half marathon to then to be told that actually, no, you've not.
Was it short by a few hundred yards?
Something like
Yeah.
So not far, but it's still a half marathon. I've still got the medal stage of the half marathon. So.
Exactly. So what made you want to do a half marathon? So that was your sort of first venture into running from your rugby background. What made you want to go into running?
Like I said earlier on, I've always been told when I played rugby that I'll get around the pitch quite well. I've got a good engine, and as I got, what was I in 2009? Probably what? 27, 28, something.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought to myself, why not just give it a go? All my friends at work were doing it, or not all of them, but a couple were doing it, and I thought, well, why not? Cardiff half, only around the corner from it. So I just entered purely out of intrigue, if you like. I've never done it before. To be honest with you, I never thought that would be the start of what's happening now. But it's like I said to you, it's absolutely amazing the buzz you get from it. Especially when you've got the people clapping you, cheering you. They don't know you from Adam, do they? It's just but they still support you, and it's absolutely lovely. And the support I got on that, or we got on that half, or almost half, was brilliant. So I kind of then thought, well, if I can do half, then I can do a full. And that's when I thought to myself, so I've done, okay, let's train. And I went into Edinburgh thinking, if I can do half, I'll just do the same again. It's not going to be that hard. Oh my God, how wrong was I?
Yeah.
But
was it Edinburgh? Did you do the Edinburgh half or the Edinburgh marathon?
Edinburgh marathon.
Yeah.
And
how did you find that? So was that soon after the Cardiff half? Was the Cardiff half building up towards it?
No, Edinburgh wasn't planned. Cardiff really wasn't planned. Cardiff was one of those things that, like I said, colleagues at work were doing it and said, why did you enter? So I just thought, all right, well, I'm going to the gym. I'm obviously got my fitness background. I'm fairly fit. I'm fairly strong.
Yeah.
I can, I'll give it a bash. So I didn't really train for the Cardiff half. But then, like I say, the endorphins and the buzz you get from doing it, and the adrenaline rush I got afterwards, and got home, and I thought, what's next? Then? What can we do next? So like I said, entered Edinburgh marathon, thinking, okay, well, if I can do 13, I can do 26.2. Yeah. So I did train, but I thought if I could, naivety, I think, got the better of me on my first one. Yeah. Thought, so if I can do 13.1, I can do 26.2. And wow, I was very wrong. I did complete it, but I completed it in like 4.5 hours, which again, people say that's not too bad for your first, but
Yeah.
it was a long way shy of what I thought I was capable of. But that was
Right.
just purely a lack of education.
I was going to say, do you want to talk us through? I mean, with a marathon, and obviously the purpose of this podcast is to help people. There's a lot of people who'll be watching this Manchester Marathon this April, will be their first ever marathon. Are there any? Talk us through, because there's the training, there's the build up towards it, and then there's the actual race itself. So I'd say there's like 3 slices to the thing. Is it of those 3? Do you want to talk us through? Because you believed, and I don't totally agree. I think if anyone can run, I think if you can run a kilometre relatively comfortably, you can run a marathon, you can run an ultra, if you do the right training. But a lot of people, and what you've just said, and I was caught out as well on my first marathon. Yeah, no problem. Do you want to talk us through some of the things that you'd learned, which you think would be some tips, or where you say it went wrong? I mean, the time that you finished is a very respectable time, and my understanding is that's the above average finishing time for the UK marathon finishers. So for those who are watching, it's around 4.5 hours. 4 hours 40 is about average, I think, in the UK. And I think other European countries it's mildly quicker, but not that much quicker. So it might be like 4 hours 27 or something.
Yeah, but that's huge. That 3 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. So obviously now, you have run other marathons, but that first one, do you want to talk us through? What do you prefer? Talk us through the race itself, what was happening through the race, and then we can go backwards and look at the training. I'll leave that to you, Gary. Talk us through the race itself, Edinburgh. I mean, it's an iconic race.
The training, honestly, I didn't respect the distance. I didn't respect the challenge. I went in there very green, thinking that, oh God, like I said, I went in there so green, so stupid that I thought, I think the furthest I ran in my training was 16 miles. Yeah. And I did it probably twice, and I didn't. Obviously, the internet wasn't what it is now, but like I said, my training was just poor. I did no strength and conditioning. I did very short runs, but I was going out daily. And then, like I said, the longest run I did was 15 miles. It's just, I think I didn't, like I said, I just didn't respect the challenge that it possesses. And I think mentally, if you're going to approach something like I am with these 3. I think now I'm in a much better place. I understand exactly what I've got. Well, maybe I don't. We'll have this conversation in May or June.
Well, I think what you just said, I mean, the respect the distance, I've heard many times, and I always say to people, respect the distance is the first thing. And that's sort of accepting that it's a long way. Yeah, we can't get away from that. 26.2 miles. It's a long way, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, of course it is.
But you said you've done daily running. Did you feel that you needed to run every day as part of marathon training?
Well, not every day, but I'd run 5 times a week.
5 times a week. Yeah.
But now, for example, this time round, I've got a bit more structure to what I'm achieving. So I'll run 3 times a week, and I'll only run hard once that week. Yeah. So I'll do what was it this week? I did a 45-minute nice steady run at like 8 minutes 15. 8 minutes 15 miles. Yeah. The pace was 8 minutes 15 per mile. Yeah. Then the day after was Tuesday. Then Wednesday I would do some interval training. So I'd do a K of just like how quickly can you do a K. Then I'd back off and just have a nice steady, even a walk. And then a K. Then I'd hit it again as hard as I can. And then on Friday it was just again very steady. But then obviously Monday will come now, and I'll probably do 30 miles. Mm-hmm.
So 3 runs is plenty, isn't it? 3 runs a week.
Yeah, but on your Monday, like I said, you got your Monday, your Wednesday, your Friday, or I missed yesterday, so it'll be Monday for training. But on the Tuesday, I do a bit of strength work. So I literally do nothing major, but so like for example, some squats, just a little bit of some lunges, some sit-ups, some press-ups, all stuff at home. I've literally only got about 100 k's worth of weight at home, so it's not massive weight. Not that I'm lifting that all at once, I mean. But it's what I mean is like, so you put like just do a squat and dumbbell in your hand, barbell on the back, just like 20k. But you're doing high reps, so you're doing 10, 15, 20 reps or whatever, rather than doing one off. So it's about, like I said, now I've learned that you've got to appreciate how far you've got to go. It's not going to be over just like that. You don't get a medal or people sponsoring you for charity because of how quick. Because what I'm trying to say is you've got to put the effort in and respect exactly what you're doing it for and why you're doing it, and respect the distance, respect yourself, look after your diet, look after everything. Yeah. It's a discipline, isn't it? It's a discipline.
Absolutely. It's what we do every day. Whilst we may not run every day, it is a daily habit, and clearly you've got into the right pattern. So since Edinburgh Marathon, that fateful day, did it put you off running in any way when you finished that Edinburgh Marathon?
No, not at all.
No.
I did find Edinburgh, for anyone that will listen to this, I don't want to put them off. I did find Edinburgh quite boring.
Edinburgh's a lovely city, but the marathon route, maybe not the most exciting.
No, you start off at the castle, don't you? It's a lovely start, lovely downhill. But then when you go out and you go back up past Musselburgh, don't you? And you come back round, and it's just it's hard.
It's hard work, isn't it? Since then, have you done another marathon?
Yeah, I did the Hungerton one. What was it? I can't remember the name of the race now. It was a bit more of a trail race, but did that last year. I did, was it last year? No, 22. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it was one of those. It was a race when remember I had that really severe heat, and I think was it the 14th or the 16th of August, and it was absolutely
Scorchio. How did you get on? Did obviously being a trail race, it's going to be slower than a road race. How did you get on? Did you have obviously a better experience than you had at Edinburgh?
Better, I'm not sure. Different, certainly. It was the heat that got you. It took me. I think I did it in like 5 hours. It was that. It was really intense. The people that Zigzag Racing that put it on, they did an absolutely amazing job with like you would come back, you get like lollipops, refreshments, awesome event. But it was difficult, and that's kind of what made me want what sort of put me on this path is okay. So I've done 2 marathons. One I went in very naive. The second one was trail, and oh my god, it was hot. So with these 3 turning 40 as well this year, I'm thinking, if I can do 2 in about 7 years apart, I can do 3 in 5 weeks. If Kevin Sinfield could do 7 in 7, I can do 3 in 5.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Kevin. I mean, what an inspiration. Obviously, he's come from a rugby background similar to yourself as well, and he's 100% proven. I appreciate he's at international, or was at international level and professional level, but it just goes to show how a bit of determination. And we'll talk about where you are now and what you've got planned, because there's a reason why you're doing it. As I say, you've got Brighton Marathon on the 7th of April, Manchester Marathon on the 14th of April, and then Leeds Marathon in May. And you're doing all those 3 for cancer research because, as I say, unfortunately, one of your parents. Give us a story of why you're doing these marathons and why for Cancer Research UK.
Right. I'm not going to make this personal. I'm just going to make this very general. Yeah. Cancer it's evil. It's a coward. It sneaks up on people. It's just nasty. If it's a human being, you wouldn't tolerate it, would you? It's not just cancer. I would love, not in our lifetimes, but I would, if I can, what I'm trying to say here is if I can extend one person's life by 5 minutes or 30 seconds by doing what I'm doing, it's worth it, isn't it? I mean, it's not just the sufferer, it's a knock-on effect to their family, to their employees, to everybody. So I do this because of what I've been through and the mental and physical challenges I've been through. To be sitting here now talking to you, knowing that I'm not overcoming them. People have said to me, and you can quote, well, you don't have to quote me on this because it's live, isn't it? What you're running away from? What you're running away from? I said, I'm not.
Yeah.
People said, why do you run? You're running away from something. No, absolutely not. I'm running towards something.
Yes.
I'm not running away. I want to make as I'm here once. I want to enjoy this experience. I want to help as many people as I can. And cancer research is something that's so close to my heart. And if like I say, if we can just help, we can keep raising some money, keep raising these funds, keep raising awareness, and help people. Not just like I say, not just the sufferer, but the family, their extended family.
Yeah.
It's all worthwhile. It's like I said to you, it's a nasty, cowardly disease that just sneaks up on you. And anyway, I just despise it. Sorry.
But, no, that's fine, Gary. I mean, it's quite ironic that my first marathon was Brighton Marathon, and that was for Cancer Research UK. And I remember meeting up with the people down in London and doing various training runs, and I've met some amazing people who also ran Brighton, and some of the support team who were there at the finish. I hope you get in touch with those teams, because they do have a great team at the finish area of Brighton Marathon. And also that I just followed their training plan, which was 3 runs a week and all of them easy. And then you just increase your long run each week, and then you have a cutback week. But Cancer Research UK is a brilliant cause. I'll leave a link in the description below where people can support you. I'm guessing you have a Just Giving page or a Support Me page, so we can put that so people can support you there, Gary. But why it started off with 2 and you've thrown in Leeds as well now, but why Brighton and Manchester? Why multiple marathons? Is there a reason for doing more than one, or is it more of a challenge for you, or it's you like Brighton and Manchester and Leeds? They're all great cities, and obviously I haven't ran Leeds yet, but I have ran Brighton and Manchester, and they're both amazing races, well supported, not as big as London or a major, but almost as big. You're in for an absolute treat, Gary. There'll be a lot of people there. Certainly Brighton, there's certain sections where it's like 10, 20 deep of people. Manchester is fantastic as well, people all the way around, because you're running through residential areas. But you're in for a real treat. I can't comment on Leeds. I've not ran Leeds, so I can't see how that is. But you're going to have an amazing time. You look in great condition. So what's your plan then? Are you following a specific plan supplied by anyone? Or are you just
the Adidas Manchester plan at the moment?
All right. Okay. That's a good one.
That was the first marathon, because I turned 40 this year. So, and everyone goes like, they go Benidorm, Skegness, and they all get absolutely. So my thought was, let's not do that this year. I don't want that when I'm 40. How about we put all that money that we're going to be on the bar into this charity, and let's make some difference that way. So, and Manchester was first that I signed up for, and then I thought, well, how about let's push this as far as a dare. So, and then I thought, oh yeah, Brighton's nice. I've never thought, yeah, okay, let's try Brighton. And to be fair, I didn't realise when I signed up for Brighton that they're only a week apart. Now I'm in it, so I've got no option. But and then Leeds was just. I'd say this year I'm 40. We can't do this forever, can we?
No.
And why we're young enough and we're fit enough and we're able, why not do it? Why not try? Why not push? So that's as simple as the answer might sound. That's exactly it. It's just I'm 40 next year or this year. So let's make this 40th year absolutely the best I can.
Absolutely. I think that's the great ethos to have, Gary. And sometimes we don't have to follow anything or have any massive thing. It's just a case of doing it, getting out there. I am very envious of you. Obviously, it is quite a challenge. I have run 2 marathons back to back. I think it was 6 days apart, and I have done some a week apart. But your training that you're doing, you've clearly got the strength and endurance there. Are you going to go for finish times? Are you going to go to compete or complete? I think that's
Complete.
often the two things. Isn't
No,
it?
complete. I don't, if I went all out at Brighton, I'd ruin myself in Manchester, wouldn't I?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's just, I have an idea of a time and I want to get it round in less than 4.5 hours, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to bust a gut to do it.
Yeah.
It's not about times this
No.
time round. It's just about, it's about Cancer Research UK. It's about raising some money and trying to put something back into society.
Yeah.
We take so much, don't we? And we take a lot for granted. So no, there's no time on this. It's just about enjoying, like I said to you earlier on, enjoying the process, enjoying the training, enjoying the occasion. And it's genuinely as simple as that. Getting my head in that right space, because when you're out there running, I don't think there's a better feeling ever, is there?
Absolutely. Life is simple. It's as complicated as we want to make it, and it's a bit like running a marathon. Life is a bit like running a marathon. Where we go all out and then pay for it towards the end, and obviously our little ditty, because this is mile 5, fifth guest on. Do you have having ran a couple of marathons? I know one was road and the other one was trail. Mile 5 of the marathon. I'm guessing you've read a lot of hints and tips or seen stuff or whatever. Do you have your own personal tip for the 5th mile? You're running the 5th mile of a marathon. Do you have a tip for people watching? What would the tip be at mile 5?
Well, first of all, I don't read anything, because that's not doing it, is it? I don't believe that you, like I said to you right at the start of this, you read it. What's the point? Get out there, do it. Stop.
Yeah.
I'm always going to say something rude, but stop teasing yourself and just get out there and do it. I mean, for me, when I'm running, the first 3 or 4 mile are absolute. They are the horrible, they're the worst miles of any race, because you've got to. It takes you a while to sort of get warmed up, get into a rhythm. At mile 5, for me, that's when I sort of think, okay, mile 5, 6, 7, 8, that's when I kind of hit my straps.
Yeah.
So as for a tip, I would just say, I don't think there is a tip at mile 5. You should then at that point surely be in your rhythm. As long as you've got a lot of fluid on you and you've eaten well in the morning, you should be at that point thinking, I feel good. I feel I'm beginning to warm up. I'm getting there. And so mile 5 is a weird one. It's not like you're at mile 20 and you're thinking, oh my God, have I done this?
Well, do you know what you've said though, Gary? That's exactly it. Mile 5 is where you're now into your rhythm, and so hopefully you've heard the one of not starting too fast. So for those that we had on mile 1 and mile 2 is not to go all out, guns blazing. But yeah, as when we're now settling into the race and you're getting into your rhythm and finding what's comfortable, and I guess also being honest with yourself, because I think some people, whilst I know you're not going to be going all out in these races, is being honest. Do you think you're going too fast to maintain this for the next 21 miles?
That's a difficult thing, though, isn't it? Because when like I say, in the Coventry half, I was just running just purely for the event, and then I got to mile, I think it was 7, thinking I feel a bit too good for mile 7. And mile 8, I thought, okay, fine. And I got to mile 9, I think this is still going far too well. I thought I'm going to kick on a little bit here, and that's when I obviously saw you, and so like I say, you don't want to kid yourself, and I think starting slowly, sometimes it's a bit like the tortoise and the hare, isn't it? Start nice and slow and steady, and build into the race, build into the occasion, because you might only ever do it once. Enjoy it. I know I keep saying this, but enjoy the process, enjoy the moment, because when you cross that finish line, it's done. All that preparation, months and months of training, it's over, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I would say, I think from what you've said, Gary, it is about the enjoyment and the process. I say when you do finish, that's it. It's done. But you've got all those memories, and also having more than one, you've got others to look forward to as well. But I'm guessing, whilst you say it's your 40th this year, I'm guessing there'll be more happening in future years as well. This could be the beginning Gary, of a new chapter for you.
I'll run as long as my legs let me.
I think you've got the right attitude, right personality, and it takes a certain attitude and personality to enjoy marathons. They're not the easiest of things. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I know that's a cliche, but it's the truth.
But anything that's hard is worth doing.
Correct. Yes. And by doing that and enjoying that, and I think you'll have an absolutely fab time. And I do know when you have the charity shirt on, where I met you, you had your Prevent Breast Cancer shirt, is you'll be pleasantly surprised the extra warmth and greeting you get, not just from the crowds there, but the other runners as well, because they know why you're doing it. And I think,
I hope so.
I'm really grateful that you've taken the time to come on this, Gary, and share with us your experiences and why you're doing this. And as I mentioned to people watching, is that there is a link below where you can support Gary and prevent breast cancer. All I can say is I wish you the very best, Gary, with these. It's is it 14? It's about 30. Obviously, to Brighton Marathon, it's about 13 weeks, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Manchester is a little bit more. So we're getting into crunch time now, aren't we? How are the legs feeling right now, Gary?
They're feeling all right because I was ill last week. I had a bit of a cold. So
you've had a bit of a rest, but
yeah.
You're at the beginning part of the training for the marathon. I think you've got a lot to look forward to. And as you said, it's enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Keep enjoying, keep smiling.
There's no doubt in that. As long as I can run, I'm a happy man. Honestly.
Absolutely. And all I can say to everybody who's watched all the way through and enjoyed this, leave a comment and your takeaway between myself and Gary here, what your key takeaways are for marathon. And if you are running Manchester, let us know, or any other marathon. Love to hear from you how we're going there. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And I'll see you all at the next podcast. And thank you again, Gary, over there. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
See you all soon.